Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh, and we're excited to have everybody here. We've got 4 great homes, and we're going to have some open houses that we're going to run through real quick. Jeff, which one are you holding open?
I am holding open 3541 Woodley Avenue. That is, or Woodley Drive, in kind of the Midway Hollow neighborhood. Really great 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We just reduced the price to $415,000. This is the one that has that really spectacular pool. So love to see you there Sunday afternoon, 1 to 3.
And Robin Kerr-Peel, who is on our team, is going to hold 4406 Bowser from 3:30 to 5, and that is on Sunday as well. And this is off of Lemon, kind of between, it's Gilbert, Holland, Bowser, the 3 streets in that area. And this one is just relatively close to Whole Foods. It's a great area. This one is priced at $485. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and it's 2,100 square feet. She would love to see you there, and this is the first time that it's been in as an open house.
It is. And that's a really cool house. It's the one that's got the Santa Barbara style feel to it.
And this is also the one that we don't see these very often, but this is one that actually is pre-set for an elevator. So even if it's something that you're not quite sure that is going to work for you because of the stairs, given the fact that it does have the elevator that could be installed, it is worth a look.
Yeah, it is.
Well, good deal on that. We are going to go ahead and jump right into the first house, and the first house that we have is 908 York House Court.
Yep.
And this is the first time we've had a listing out here.
Yes, this is in the city of McClendon Chisholm.
McClendon Chisholm, say that fast.
Chisholm, yeah, say that quickly. And it is like the mailing address is out of Rockwall, but it's actually in the city limits of McClendon Chisholm. And it's a really great neighborhood called Kensington Park. A small neighborhood. I think there's only 50 or 60 homes in the whole neighborhood, built by Altura. Lots of really large homes in this neighborhood. This lot is one of those that they paid a premium for this lot because it is down on the end of this really cool cul-de-sac, backs up to a lot of undeveloped acreage, and just really is I think a great location to be in that subdivision specifically.
So this one is off of 30, so you actually cross all of Lake Ray Hubbard. And we had a house that was over here off of White Buffalo Terrace, and that was a great home, and it sold quite well. And this one is similar yet a little bit different. Square footage-wise, it's a little bit bigger. This one comes in right at 3,318 square feet. Again, the lot is 1.33 acres. So if you're looking for a little more space, but not quite 2, this is a really good option and would be worth taking a look at.
Yeah, and this is one of those pie-shaped lots that's down on the end of the cul-de-sac. So, like if you're looking at this picture, you're standing almost out in the street. It's got great setback, and then the lot kind of V's back. So the back side of this lot is really much wider than the front of it. Down the side of the house there was that extra pad that they had poured. So you've got extra space out there for parking. You've got this really great 3-car garage, but you've got room, gosh, for I'm guessing another two cars over there. I held this open last weekend and kind of pulled my car over to the side and didn't realize that I had a lot of room over there. I probably could have turned around.
Yep. And this home, being that it's 3,318 square feet, is actually constructed in 2018. And so it has a lot more of the building sciences that we look for today. And because of all those building sciences, it costs a lot less to heat and cool. And so some of the standard features that they have in here, they have radiant barrier in the attic. They have a 16-SEER HVAC system, double pane windows, low flow commodes. And so it just creates this entire package that's easy to maintain and easy to live in. One of the other things that you'll notice on something like if you were comparing, I guess the closest thing you'd compare to this is new construction. And this one already has the yard installed. So it does have the sprinkler system as well. So you've got a house that is ready to go. And as you can tell, they've got a lot of the backyard accoutrements as far as the trampoline and the play center. So inside the house, we have large 10-foot ceilings, a really bright floor plan. The way that the configuration is set with that oversized kitchen, the living room, and the breakfast nook really works with what more and more of today's buyers are looking for.
Yeah, and they went very neutral in their selections. They did a really good quality granite in every room in the house, but it's still very neutral. So whatever the buyer's color pattern is for their home or their furnishings or decorations, it's going to be able to fit into this. They also opted for the selection of doing this porcelain tile throughout the entire house.
Carpet free.
Yeah, carpet free, and this is great if you've got pets that live in the house. If you're one of those no shoes families, it is really just a really, really clean house.
And the configuration of the home is really simple. When you walk in through the front door, you have the study, which is on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you have the dining room. They've also configured the master, which is going to be behind the living room, and then the bedrooms 2, 3, and 4, and the second living room are going to be by the kitchen. And last but not least, this does include a 3-car garage, which is a great asset out there.
Yep. And this home is priced at $569,000. It is move-in ready, $171 a square foot. Really a great value. And for people that are building homes out there and don't want to wait, come on down. This is your opportunity.
Yep. And so the next home that we're going to move over to, and this is going to come right back into the city off of Northwest Highway in Turtle Creek. This is 8616 Turtle Creek Boulevard, number 221. And this is an area of Dallas that people really, once they're familiar with the Park Cities or Preston Hollow, and they do a little downsizing or they get tired of Uptown, this has really become like a draw for this entire area.
Yeah, it really has. In this building was built in 2006 and 7, and so it's one of the newer construction buildings over there. And like you were saying, people that love this area, maybe they're moving out of the house, or they've sold the house that's going to be scraped, or they've just lived in Park Cities forever, and they want to move into a smaller place. They want something that's got a little bit more cost manageable, and this is the answer.
Yep. And one of the things that Jeff and I sold this complex out, and one of the things that we saw over and over again is that people wanted a very specific lock and leave lifestyle. And this was great for people who were downsizing or traveled quite a bit for work. The entrance has a concierge 7 days a week. There's also a pool, infinity edged with grill and seating area. There's a on-site gym that's open 24/7, and then they also have a great coffee bar.
Yeah, and this unit is up on the second floor. It's on the southern side of the building. You get really great light out of that south side of the building. Here's a picture of the infinity lap pool and the outdoor fireplace. And the something you can't see in that picture is that beyond those blue planters there are grills out there that are available to everybody to use. So if you're one of those people that being able to cook outside and grill dinner is important to you, you've still got that here.
And one of the things about this floor plan that made it so popular, and this was called the Florencia floor plan, and not only does it have the hardwood floors and the windows that open to a Juliet balcony, but the bedrooms are set up on either side. And it's not like one is like a super senior master and one's a much smaller secondary. They're almost equivalent. They both have walk-in bathrooms and walk-in bathtub or closets. And so it's really easy. And the other thing that the developer did right on this floor plan is that they actually gave a half bath. So none of your guests actually have to go into any of the other bedrooms. And we've seen it multiple times where they've taken the second bedroom and turned that into the living room. And so that was where you watch the TV, where you have more of a conversation sitting in the front area.
Yeah, and the building itself is just immaculately cared for. It is very, very well managed. I think the same management company has been in place since the day we got involved in it. And they just do a great job of running it. The HOA is very financially stable. They provide these kind of common areas like the community clubhouse that you see here. And this is on the site of the old Il Sorrento restaurant.
It is.
And hence the name, the Sorrento. And it is just funny that every time people walk into that building, somebody's got a story about when they were young and they
Yep.
used to go to that restaurant there.
Yep.
And they really tried to keep the kind of that old world charm in from that restaurant into what the decoration of the building is now. But they still provide places like this with the fitness center, which is very well maintained. There is new equipment that is brought into that place probably annually. And as you were talking about, the coffee bar that's available to all the residents there it's a really great treat to show in this building. And this is a view from the 5th floor balcony that is available to all the residents as well. So you've got really good indoor space. You've got really fantastic outdoor space. You just can't find this combination of amenities anywhere else that I know of.
And one of the things that everybody always gets to when they fall in love with the place, the last thing they're going to want to know is where's the parking. And one of the great things about the location of this unit on the floor is that it's close to the second elevator, and you can actually take that second elevator directly down to the parking garage. That parking garage will actually give you spot, it looks like 23 and 24. The great thing about this is that they're side by side, which a lot of people really request, and it's not very often. And last but not least, this also has a on-site storage unit, which is approximately 16 by 9. So you've got side by side parking spaces, a storage unit, and you're just steps away from the actual parking garage.
Yeah, this is
Or the elevator.
yeah, and one of the great things about this building is you never have to walk up a stair if you don't want to.
This is true.
Everything in the building is completely accessible without going up a single stair. And so 8616 Turtle Creek number 221 is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,288 square feet. And it's priced at $385,000. That comes in about $298 a square foot. This unit is priced right in line with everything else that is this floor plan that has sold in the last few months there. So step on up if you'd like to see that. We'd love to show it to you.
Yep. So now we're going to take and go over a little bit towards East Dallas. So if you were to head down Northwest Highway towards 75 and head south, you're going to get off and you're going to probably take Fitzhugh or Henderson, and that's going to get you to 4705 Bryan Street, Unit 303. And this is an up and coming area of town. And we've said it before, and I like to think that I thought of the phrase, but I know I didn't. It's epicenter adjacent. So you've got so many things around this area for you. So you can get to Lois Greenville. You can get all the way into Uptown. You've got everything up and down Henderson. And then you can also get into Deep Ellum from this area. And it's so quick.
It is, and this is one of those areas of town that is kind of one of the last to really kind of get its wheels under it, but its wheels are under it now.
They are. That's a great way to put it.
I remember, going to Jimmy's Food Store, which is a block and a half away from this 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I remember going to Mize, which is, right across the street and a half a block down from this.
Dallas Urbanite.
Yes, and the the Urbano,
Yes.
Cafe Urbano. And, all of those restaurants have been there for a long time, and they've always drawn people into those neighborhoods. And now a lot of the developers have come in, and they've been building these really cool 2- and 3-story condominiums, townhomes, and creating more of that. I'm going to call it affordable living, affordable housing down in that little quadrant of the city.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because Jimmy's Meat Market, hands down, has the best meatball sub at the back at the meat counter.
Yep.
So Jimmy's, if you're listening, we love your sandwiches. So let's get to this unit. So this is going to be a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, and it's a set of 4 buildings. And there are 5 units in each one. Each one of them has its own 2-car garage, and each one of them has a gated front entrance to all the front doors, because all the front doors will face each other and go down laterally. One of the things that we like about this one, and we feel like we've seen similar things like this, is that they actually have recessed the front door a bit. So it's great for guests getting in and out of the weather. And the other thing is that there is a really nice space downstairs, and it could be used as a very light 3rd bedroom, or it could be used as an office. And I think most people use it in an office because of the size of that window that they have right there.
Yeah, it's a great floor plan with these. And, you know, I can honestly say I've never seen this floor plan before.
No, I thought we had. We thought it was from something from Stutz.
Yeah, it's a lot like that, and until you get up to that second
Right.
floor, and then it really does change. And it's a really great usable plan. When you come upstairs, here's the living room that you will see that kind of looks off over into the kitchen there, and this has really great light because you've got both ends of the building there with windows on it. This being up on the second floor and everything being 3-story there, you still got, you know, you're high enough you get good natural light into the units.
Absolutely. And they've taken and anchored the kitchen on one end, and that allows for you to have the great natural light at the front sink, which is always nice. And then you've got just the right amount of cabinets. Most of the people in these areas don't need tons and tons of cabinets, so they didn't go too far with them and make it where it's a little obnoxious. There's a right size space there for the dining or the little bar stools, but then also there's a small area for a more formal setup, but it's not too much, double as a desk.
Yeah.
And then upstairs, the great thing is that you have bedroom 2 and the master. And what they've done is they've separated those by using the closets, which is really smart because it allows for a little more of a sound deadening between the two. And they're great sized. This is actually looking into the master. And as you can see, you have good window space, and then you also have enough room for nightstands and what looks like a queen size bed.
Yep, and there's a big walk-in closet right off of this to the right that you can't really see in that photo.
Right.
And then to the left as you come in is where the master bath is. And these are really finished out very nicely. Great selection of tile there, great cabinet work. They've got the solid surface countertops, good simple fixtures.
Right.
And then this has the a walk-in shower that kind of has the glass, I'm going to call them the barn door slide.
Slide.
Yeah. You know, just really well done.
Yeah, it's an easy, quick live-in, and these things, again, like as Jeff was saying, this really comes in, and it's amazing to say that $385,000 is affordable, but in this area, this is a great price for this unit.
Yeah. So this is 4705 Bryan Street, number 303, 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, priced at $385,000, which is about $247 a square foot. It's only about a year and a half old, and really, really a great value. We wanted to say thank you to Tony Petriconi for letting us talk about his home today.
Great house, great house. And if you haven't seen this area of Dallas, you need to get over there now.
Definitely.
And then the last one that we're going to go to is going to be 5600 Longview. And this is actually coming off of Lois Greenville. Well, not quite medium. Let's just call it medium Greenville. And this street right now has changed immensely. We were driving down it, and both of us commented about how much new construction is in this area. And even though this one is built in 2015, it still resonates almost as brand new, the way that it was cared for and in the way that the design selects were pulled back in 2015. This area is a great area of Dallas to live in. You're getting off of Mockingbird and 75, which are great commuters, whether you're going all the way to 35 or want to go over towards the Arboretum. 75 is your main artery that's here in Dallas and gets you all the way up to Plano and Frisco and back down in downtown Dallas.
Yeah, and the proximity of this to that section of the Katy Trail is just fantastic as well. Probably within 5 or 6 blocks, you can be on the Katy Trail heading either over to White Rock Lake or heading all the way down into the American Airlines Center, and it's just great access. I mean, that's really the thing I would say about it.
And one of the things that we really fell in love with this home is that in a sea of modern construction that we have here in Dallas, this is really nice to see a home that has like a traditional feel to it. And this is a single family attached, so you do have a neighbor that's directly attached to the other side, but with today's code and permits required, there's a lot of sound ending that has gone into the science and has really made these things quite quiet. This one is actually on a corner. And one of the things that we really, really appreciated in this one was how the developer took advantage of all that light down the side. Lots of windows when you entered into this unit, which made it just feel really warm and homey. Color selections on this one were done quite well. This is a deeper shade of brown than what we see quite often, but again, it just has a richness and a soul to it that so many times, sometimes it that gets missed out on. And so it was so nice to come into this house.
Yeah, and the hardwood floors as you walk in are really impressive. They continue out that first floor. The marble countertops, I can't remember if those are granite or marble, one of the two. And this has that very, I guess, very sought out island type environment where you've got that separate dining room with the formal dining area, and then you come into the kitchen, and the kitchen opens to the living area there. That's all kind of flanks around a big fireplace, and just very warm and homey.
Yeah.
Great plantation shutters pretty much throughout the entire home, and it looks almost like there was a wall that was cut out there, but I think that was done intentionally because to me it gives great structure. Just it just gives great structure to what those rooms are. There's really no question about how should I set these up, or how would I put furniture here, or how would I live.
Yep. And one of the things that we noticed about this is that the developer actually has given you an additional 200 to 300 square feet that won't be taxed at the same rate because it's a screened-in back porch. So you get a lot of extra with that. And the other thing too is that they've created a 2-car carport attached to the 2-car garage. So you get a lot of extra parking. If you're looking for not a lot of yard, this is the one for you as well.
Yeah, and it's again, back to the location. It's situated right there on the corner. You've got great light, really beautiful construction, a lot of attention to detail, and it's hard to find all of those that combination of stuff sometimes, and this was definitely one.
And what the developer has also done is split living space from personal space. And so upstairs is where bedroom 2, 3, and master are. And again, you get all the nice. And this one is a little harder to see in the master bathroom, but they have selected an exotic marble that you don't often see used at this price point.
Yeah.
So they did not skimp on the upgrades on this home.
Not at all. And so kind of to recap, 5600 Longview Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath home, 2-car garage, 2-car carport, about 2,600 square feet, built within the last 3 years or so, priced at $675,000. That brings it in about $254 a square foot.
Yep. Great house. And we want to say thank you so much to Paige Elliott for letting us do this. And you know what's an interesting fun fact about Paige? I ran into Paige Elliott at Bonton Farms a couple of Saturdays
did
ago.
you really?
Yep.
Yeah.
She and her daughter were down there, and it was a wonderful time. If you go onto social media, she actually took a picture of her and I, and we are holding the pitchfork in the American Gothic portrait style. So, Paige, thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, thank you very much. So today, we're kind of transitioning into our second segment.
Second segment time.
Yep. And, we always try to bring something that is of interest or something that we see going on. And, we work with a lot of sellers, but it seems like, we've been working with a lot of buyers as well lately.
Right.
And it's interesting, when you start going through all of these listings out there and you begin to see all the things that buyers bring up that kind of turn them off. And
Right.
so today we wanted to bring to you just 4 of the mistakes that sellers should avoid at all costs.
We have 4 more that we're holding back. If you want to know about those, we've got them ready.
Absolutely. So our first one is using cheap or inferior or closeout finishes when you are getting your home ready to put on the market.
Yep. It's quite interesting is that when people, and maybe it's just here in Dallas, but people shop quite often, and they also know what's on sale. And when you selected something that is on discount or closeout, they acknowledge that.
And usually, one of the things that we find is that the things that are on closeout, many times people that are designers for big tile companies, or they're designers for big paint companies or whatever, they know what the trends are, and they know what is going to be coming into fashion and what's going out. And so part of their job is to get out what is left that is going out of fashion before it goes out of fashion. So if you're the one that's buying it as it's going out of fashion and you're completely retiling your entire house with that product, your house is going to be out of fashion pretty quick. And so a couple of subpoints under this, if it's one of those things that you can't spend the money to do it really right, it might be better for you to leave it alone for the next person.
Because we've shown houses many times to people, and you walk into the house and it's been updated, and oftentimes they say, I wish they hadn't done it. I wish it was left original.
Yeah.
Because at that point I don't have to undo it, because there also is that a little guilt and a little bit like people are like, oh, I'm wasting this, I shouldn't, but it's really not what I want. So if you're not sure and the house is fine, we say just wait and leave it. Price it accordingly, because thinking that using the closeout and the sale and discount stuff is going to generate top dollar is a misnomer.
Right.
Is a big false.
So number 2, not replacing older core systems of the house before you put it on the market.
So Jeff, why is this so critical? Because we see this all the time, and you are the king about going after these on inspections when we represent buyers.
Yeah, it's the core systems are really what bring you most of the value in the home. I mean, if you look at just kind of look at a house from what the biggest part of the values are: foundation, roof, heating, air conditioning. It's the plumbing. It's all of those core things, and people are going to know how old that air conditioner is because now serial numbers can be decoded on every part.
On an app sometimes.
Yeah, so they can, if you don't know how old it is, and it's at least 10 years old, so is the buyer. So if you don't start replacing some of the older core parts and older systems, what are some of the things that you see out there?
So typically what can happen is that it translates in the seller's disclosure and comes across when people make offers, or if it's really severe, the lack of showings that you get. Well, let's go back. That's a different one. The other thing too that you're going to notice is that it's going to come up in inspection. So either you can kind of price it accordingly, or you can wait and get dinged when it comes to an inspection. A lot of times when the inspector comes through, they're recommending that an additional inspector come out and take a look at the HVAC and take it a little further, and take the plumbing and take it a little bit further, and maybe a roofer now needs to come out. And so what we've done is we've changed everything, and now a lot becomes more in flux, and sometimes at that point it does give buyers a reason to begin to second guess their decision, and then they're not quite as invested in that home.
Yeah, very much so. And once the home inspection happens, if that buyer terminates, many times that seller is going to have seen that inspection report, and they're going to have to share that information. Whether they choose to share the report or not, they do have to share the information that's contained in the report. So,
and they do that by
redoing their seller's disclosure statement and having to go through that process again.
And it's just a psychological thing that sometimes it loses steam, because this all takes away from the days on market and adds to them. And at that point, people begin to think that there's something wrong with the home. And then, of course, we always see people kind of throwing these funny little offers at us.
Yeah.
So.
And number 3?
Number 3, overpricing.
Yep.
So overpricing, there may have been a time when you could get away with it. Actually, relatively within the last 18 months, you could probably overprice your house and get away with it, because we were so ascending. But things have normalized, and that's a great thing, because it kind of has leveled the playing field for just about everybody. But if you're still in that mindset that you're going to price it above the current market, it begins to sit there. And one of the things that we like to talk about is, what day is fruit the freshest when you buy it from the supermarket? And unless it's the green bananas, it's day one when you get it. And that kind of goes along with your home. It gets all the eyes on it on day one when it hits that market.
Yeah. And if it's overpriced, it does alienate and discourage buyers. Agents will not show the home because, from an agent's perspective of representing a buyer, because the inventory has grown so much, there's a lot of things to show people right now. And so you want to pick the best ones that are out there, the ones that are the best values already. And, if you take a buyer out and you've got 20 that meet their criteria, we're going to pick the 10 that we know or have been through or have toured, that we feel are going to be the best value based on what that buyer wants.
Yep. And a lot of times the other thing too is people always say, well, somebody can make an offer, but the deal is that the seller gets it in their head that that's their money, and it really isn't. They're overpriced. So maybe that first offer comes in, below what market is, but because it's so far below what their overpriced number is, there's this real struggle to readjust thinking on pricing.
Yeah, and then, as a seller with an overpriced piece of property is sitting there, there are other homes that are coming on the market, and those are being snatched up because they are priced better to the market or they're in better condition. And those are the ones that, we still see houses that have multiple contracts, get multiple contracts on day one or day two.
Yeah.
And it is usually that really cream of the crop product. People here are willing to pay more for a quality home or something that is priced well than they are, than something that's not.
Right. And the other thing too is that when you're overpriced and somebody else comes on the market, you've already told them what the ceiling is, that you're beyond it because you're still in the market, and that allows them to properly price their home and snatch up the buyer that should have made the offer on your home.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that we will often do in working with sellers is, when we've gone through that initial period and we don't see a lot of the activity, or we see the activity begin to wane, we start looking at what has gone under contract since that one came on the market, so that we can make sure, we and the seller kind of see what we might have been missing, where we should have been priced or could have been priced.
I think that's what you and I do a lot of the times, is not only do we need feedback from the buyers and the sellers that are actually looking at the home, but we also need to make sure that our sellers know what is actually on the market and what's pending and what's closed, because that is actually what the market is doing.
Right. And last of all, our fourth tip to avoid is DIYing home repairs. And we all know how that can come out sometimes. There are a lot of people we know that are really good at this type of thing. Like,
And more power to them.
Yeah, we've worked
Justin
with
Christian, you're one of them.
Yep, we've worked with another family that we were selling a home, and they had built this I'm going to call it an artist studio, or it was a woodworking shop. And then they built all these raised beds outside, and they had, everything had been permitted properly, and everything had been connected properly, and and those
That
type of
added value.
people add value. They add value. But if you're one of those people that is, not as skilled at something, maybe you ought to practice a couple of times before you do that, just as you put your house on the market.
Yeah, because the other thing too is that now your work is going to be scrutinized by the buyer, the agent, and the inspector. And that all begins to raise questions. Were permits pulled? Where's a copy of the receipts? Who's the person that did the work? Do they know that company? Are they reputable? And at the end of the day, your weekend project could have to be redone and be expensive.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, I'm all for projects, and I understand that they're therapeutic and whatnot. But by all means, I would explore hiring, or at least getting bids on what things are, and just visiting with the vendors. We've got tons of them. If you have a project in mind, we'd love to share them with you, just so that they can say, well, did you know you're going to have to do this? And did you know that that's a load-bearing wall? Did you know your mechanical's inside that wall? All before you begin to swing that first hammer. And that's one of those things you've got to be aware of.
So we hope that was helpful for you today.
Not scary, just helpful.
Yep. 4 mistakes sellers should avoid at all costs. Really, really important stuff. We do have some other things that we'll bring back at a future date and talk about those as well. But we figured those were kind of high on the priority list.
Yep. Well, that's just about all the time we have today.
Yep. Been a good show.
You want to close us out?
I might as well. Thanks for tuning in today. We really appreciate you joining us here. Come visit our Facebook page. You're probably already there watching this, but if you're not and you're watching this on YouTube, then go visit our Facebook page. Also, go visit us on Instagram. Always keep up with houses that we have for sale, things that are going on, tips and tricks, and then certainly visit our updikepugh.com webpage. There's a lot of detailed information about buying and selling a home. You can also set up searches for yourself. Homeprice.fyi if you'd like to know the value of your home. Go over there, put your address in, answer a couple of other questions, and you'll get a value instantly. Last of all, reach out to us in the traditional way. Our phone number is 214-377-2223. We would love to hear from you.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.